Hello.
Hello, hello. Hey, Cecilia, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Armando?
Good. Yeah, here we are again. One more session. It's great. For
Yes.
those of you connected live, welcome to our Fabric Talks. My name is Armando Lacerda, and here's my friend.
Cecilia Versatori. Hi. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome from California, and welcome from
From Miami, South Florida.
South Florida, Miami, Florida. There we
Yeah.
go. Hey, we'll
Do
be
we have
together
any
there
locals?
in a couple of weeks, right, Cecilia?
Yes. Armando will be visiting in 2 weeks, right? Or three. I mean, time
It's
flies. So
great.
yeah, we're so excited. I mean, we covering all these topics that are related to workshops that we have scheduled for September because we have the luck of having Armando in town that week. So we are super excited. So we're covering all these topics, and if you're interested in Power BI, in Fabric, and DBA skills in Fabric, governance, SSIS developers, we are covering all those topics in these trainings. So if you want more than we have here during these talks, check it out.
Definitely.
It's in
Yeah, like
person.
Cecilia said. What said again, Cecilia? What?
It's in person. So
It is in person, yeah. So like she said, we have like just 30 minutes here together, to give you tips on how to navigate Fabric and how you get your skills from whatever platform you come from into Fabric. There, we're gonna have a full day, right? Interaction, like Cecilia just said, in person, and we're gonna provide you a sandbox so you can have hands-on. We're gonna guide you through scenarios with some lab steps, so you can check these things out on an environment that you don't have to pay for the environment, and it's safe, right? If you break, no big deal.
yeah, and that's the most important part because many times we study a lot and we learn from reading and everything and watching videos, but the hands-on is always I mean, not always, but it's sometimes it's difficult for people to recreate the environments. So there you will have the opportunity to have this hands-on experience that we all want and we all need. So we have a slide for this, Armando. Can we bring it
Yeah,
to
we
the?
do. What is it? It is, let's see here.
Yeah, here we have the talks that we've been covering. Today is from SSIS to Microsoft Fabric, your ETL Reimagined. But next week we'll be covering Copilot for the Power BI professionals in Fabric.
Whoa. Hot topic.
AI. And the last the talk of this series will be we go back again to the SQL DBAs in Fabric. So stay tuned
Yeah,
and join us on those dates.
yeah, we covered the SQL DBA, from regular SQL into Fabric, and this is the SQL offering within Fabric, right? Called SQL in Fabric. So
Correct.
another interesting topic in Fabric for sure.
And if you missed the past talks, you can check it out on LinkedIn or on YouTube. So we have
Yeah,
them.
Cecilia runs this awesome consulting company, Magna Data, in South Florida, and all the videos, all the Fabric Talk videos we be sharing here, they are there in the Magna Data's channel in YouTube. So go check it out.
Super. And
So
here
the
we have
topic
it.
for the day today is data integration, right? SQL Server SSIS.
Mm-hmm. SSIS. So what's happening here, right? So let's jump into it, right, Armando? Are we ready?
Ready,
Are
ready. Let's
people
jump
ready?
into
So,
it.
I mean, SSIS packages to Fabric, right? So my question would be here, can I migrate or convert my packages to Fabric? Can I do this automatically, Armando? I mean, is this possible to me?
Yeah, that's a question that a lot of people have been asking for so long, right? Since the move to the cloud start happening, like 10 years ago or so, and the cloud start becoming more and more popular. People from the database side, they're like, yeah, I have my SSIS packages. I have done all this data integration, all the logic implemented in SSIS. Now we're moving to the cloud. What do I do with it? And the short answer when relating to Fabric is you cannot. Right? There is no way to get your SSIS packages and automatically translate them into Fabric items. Right? Fabric is a collection of items. We have semantic models, we have reports, we have lakehouse, warehouse, we have things you're going to see today. Right? The data flow gen 2 and the pipelines and Spark notebooks and all of that. So there is no tool out there provided by Microsoft to convert these things. There, I believe there must be a software houses out there trying to create something like that to do this thing. But as far as I know, there is nothing on the market. You cannot get your SSIS packages and translate them into Fabric.
So
You
what you're
can.
telling me, Armando, is that there is no magic button.
There is no convert button. There is no button like
Convert
this.
button.
That was easy. Not for that. Not for that. But one of the good news about this is there is this traditional way of getting the SSIS packages running on Azure VMs, which is outside Fabric. So we can get your packages and deploy them to Azure Data Factory in Azure and running there if you have to run those
Mhm.
packages. So there are ways. We're not going to talk about them in here, but what we're going to see here today, and I think this is going to be very interesting for all of us out there who have been working with SSIS, is how do I get my skills, the things that I know, how they work in
Right.
SSIS, and translate that into Fabric.
Mhm.
So you cannot migrate your packages, but you can migrate your skills.
So what you're telling me is that when we think about migration here, we should be thinking about translation, right? Instead of how do I
Yes.
migrate my SSIS package, we can look at it and how I reimagine my workflow in Fabric,
Reimagine you,
right?
yeah, which includes rewriting, which a lot of companies they are like, why I'm going to rewriting something, what I'm going to change, six by half a dozen. It's kind of the same thing. What I'm doing this, and there are a lot of benefits in Fabric. So the benefits
Mhm.
of this we're going to discuss some other day. For now, let's focus on translating my skills into Fabric. How about that?
So then, how do I create a package like item in Fabric? This
That's a great question. Let me show you in a demo here. I'm
let's
bring
see.
my wow, my desktop doesn't want to go to the stage. See, the demo gods are not happy with me. So let's do this and take this away and put this one there. There we go. So here's Fabric. We're gonna go back to Fabric momentarily. Let's go to my virtual machine where I have, look who is here. Visual
Whoa!
Studio. Yeah. I got, yeah, I was preparing this session, the demo for this session. I was like, oh, it's so good to see you again, old friend. We have done so many good things together in the past.
Right?
But here in Visual Studio, Cecilia, we have, where is my laser point? Here. Is this my laser point? Is it working? Let's see. There you go.
Yes.
So here we have the package. This is the actual package. We got the solution and the elements in the solution. And the items inside the solution of an SSIS package, they would start over here, right? Let me zoom in here. There we go. In the connection manager. So we need connection to your sources. You do have here the transformations. In this case here, because I'm not looking into data flow right now, I'm looking into control flow. So here I have some actions or tasks in the control flow. And if I go into the data flow, That thing over there changes from the tasks in the control flow to actual data transformations for the data flow. So we have four main elements in here, right? Once again, let me get this to the laser point mode. We have the connection manager, we have the control flow, the data flow, and the elements we can add to both the control flow and the data flow, right? A collection of them. So these four basic elements, you have all of them, the four of them inside Fabric. And as you know, if you want to connect to a place, you need to have a connection. So if I go back to Fabric, if I go back to Fabric and look into the settings here, I will find here the connections. See, manage connections and gateways. So the way I do connections in SSIS is the way that I do connections here in Fabric. So I can come in here and manage the connections that I have. Let's take a look. I think I have a couple here already that I use for some demos there. The ones I'm gonna be used today, they are here. They should be this one here for, no, this is SQL Server. I have one for storage account somewhere, might be this one. And then you add the connections, and you can manage them from here. And usually you add them when you're doing some other tasks there in the Fabric item. So for this demo, I have created this workspace here called Fabric Talks, and I do have I think I have a SQL database in there. We're not going to see that one today. We will be working on a data lake, and I do have here the elements. Now, one of the things we are seeing here, Cecilia, it's important for our friends that are watching live and the recording later. And one of the things here to keep in mind is in SSIS in here, everything is in one file, is the DTX file, right? So I have the connection in that file, I have the control flow and the data flow and the elements I put in there in that file. In Fabric, things are not containerized, right? To use a word that a lot of people are using today. They are not in just one piece. In Fabric, if I go back here to Fabric, I see them in multiple pieces, right? In multiple places, which are called items. So if I have a control flow, my control flow would be, sorry, my control flow would be the data pipeline. If I have the data flow, I want to implement the data flow. Now, the control flow is the data pipeline. We're good there. You can also use Airflow if you're coming from other platforms, but data pipeline is the most common one. Now, if you're doing the data flow, you have many options. I'm going to do the demo today on data flow Gen 2 because the name matches, right? Data flow in both environments. But you have other options in here too. You can do it by code, using notebooks. You can, depending on what you're doing, you can do some, yeah.
So
You
so
can do
we
some
still have this.
T-SQL.
So we
Yeah,
still have this concept of orchestration, right? Now we call it a pipeline, Armando. Did I get it right?
yeah, you do. So starting from inside out, let's look at the data flow first, and then we go into the orchestration. So bear
Okay,
with me
sounds
here.
good.
If I go back here to SSIS, I see here that I'm connecting to a flat file. I'm reading a data from a CSV file. Let's take a look at this one here just quick. There we go, right? So I'm connecting to a plain text file, and I'm reading some information from there. By the way, this one here I got from Microsoft Learn. They have a step-by-step there for SSIS with a few errors, because they have not updated the instructions in there. But just to be transparent, I got this. I implemented this from what they have there. I made it one by one. So we get here the flat file, and then we do two lookups to convert some keys into descriptions, and then we write this to. Well, it doesn't want to move. Let's move it over here. I write this to a SQL database, right? I write here down to a SQL database. So here are the connections and all of that. So I have already shown you how the connections go inside Fabric. Now, when it comes to this, these two lookups and the source and the destination, here's the destination down here, they came from this toolbox right on the right side. So if you are an SSIS developer, a developer DBA in SSIS, you know you have to come here and choose your transformations from here. Now, these transformations, let's go back here on the common. These transformations here, they were written in C sharp, mostly, yeah, but they were all written in C sharp, actually in .NET, and some of them in C sharp, some in other languages, but they're all .NET transformations. In Fabric, we're not going to see this because Fabric has a different platform behind the scenes. So these things cannot translate into Fabric elements in one to one. And that's why we cannot get these packages and get into Fabric. But when we go to Fabric, let's see, this one is the replacement for data flow. So when we go to Fabric and we open, like I'm using a data flow Gen 2, we do have this transform tab here. Still thinking about what to do with the sources. But we do have this transform tab in here. They're very familiar to Power BI people because Power BI has this thing called Power Query that has a very similar approach to this. So in here, I have all of these transformations that I can use. And sometimes the same transformations we have in SSIS, they are here, but they have a different name.
Yeah.
So, if I want to do a lookup like what we were doing there, the lookup is based on a join, right? I'm getting an external table and join with the data in my pipeline and get the join done together. And here I have a join. Let me collapse this guy just quick. Oh, this is the language. There we go. So here I have a join, right? I'm getting one table, I'm getting another table, and join with this third table here, which I name it new currency, which I'll be writing to SQL. So I'm reading these two tables. See, I have a query for them in here. And here on this transformation, I do have a destination assigned to it, which is not sure it's supposed to be shown here on the right, but it's not showing there. But here's the point, right? We have the same concept. We have another thing that's interesting is in SSIS, the organization style was from top down, right? From top down, and you do the the pipeline. Sorry. In Fabric, we usually this writing style is from left to right, so we read this way instead of top down. But still, the same elements are there. I have a source in here in currency, and if I do that, I want to do some cleanup in currency before I do the join. I can do it there. Same for dates, and then I create my new elements in here. How do
Very
you like
nice.
it, Cecilia?
I love it. I love it. And it's super visual, it's like, and I see so many possibilities here. And the fact that this is a specific item in Fabric, I love it because I may be able to share it, right? I can reuse this somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right?
this thing is cloud enabled, right? It has versioning. You can integrate with GitHub,
Oof.
and you can extract this thing. And like this particular one is done in M language, so we can send somebody else, even to
Can I
Power
see?
BI people.
So I can see language behind this, you say?
Yeah, let's see. It should be here somewhere.
Under view.
Here, advanced
Under
editor. There it is.
Wow. So I can copy this, I can modify, and I can even write M code, you're telling me.
Yep.
I
I
love
can
it.
do M coding here. Let's see if we can see this one here. There it is. All the transformations happening
I
there.
love it. I love it. So I can do low code, drag and drop, click, 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 or I can use a code if I need to, if I like coding.
Whatever you like, Cecilia. My SSIS people, they like to do the drag and drop from the tools in there like the Power BI people do. But you are a high level professional, so you can do the code there. Tiago on YouTube, Tiago is like, oh my God, old dark days.
Oh, your Visual Studio, right?
Yeah. We've been there, right, Tiago? We've been there. All right, so that was the
That's
inside
fantastic.
one, right? Let's take a look on the next tier, right? We had
So,
the connection. Yes, Cecilia, you want to say
so this
something?
is the data flow that you just showed me. This is how I created data flow
Yes, this is
for.
the
Okay,
equivalent for the
that's
data
fab.
flow.
Here,
And in an SSIS package, you have one data flow per SSIS package. And in Fabric, you can have as many data flows as you want, right? As many as you need. You just keep coming here, do a new item, get a new data flow Gen 2. Don't use that Gen 1. Gen 1 is there for backward compatibility for people doing things very old, very old style. So we always use data flow Gen 2. And you can have as many as you want, right? And you can reuse them, reconnect them, and orchestrate them in any way. And since I mentioned the keyword orchestrate,
So where do I sign? What do I have to do to get all? I love it. So how do I implement the control flow then?
yeah, there we go. The control flow is done through another Fabric item, which is called the pipeline. Now,
Mm.
for data flow, I showed you one option with the data flow Gen 2. Just to make it clear, there are more options, right? You can do a notebook using PySpark. You can do a notebook using T-SQL. There are pros and cons in each one of them. This is the easiest one, because like I said, like you said, drag, click, click, drag and drop.
No code.
Yeah, and you don't have to write code if you don't want to. Now, once you have your data flow created in SSIS, let's bring it back here. If I go here to the control flow, here in the control flow, this is kind of a mock-up. I add some elements here just for the sake of demo. But let me see, what is the zoom in of this? Right here. So my data flow task over here, this one, extract current data. I think, yeah, this is my data flow. This is the data flow. Yes, perfect. This is the data flow. So the steps we have seen over here in the data flow, they are in this particular step. So before I do this, let's say, I have to do something first. I have to tap into a mainframe
Oof.
and export the data out of the mainframe as a plain text file. So this would be a script to do that. And if it fails, we tell somebody else about that, right? Start troubleshooting. If it goes well, we do the data flow, and the data flow writes to a destination, and we have another script here that will say, think is done, and here's the square one you asked for. Yeah, clean up the file because the file is processed. And when completed, we just log the operation. So this orchestration, right? The actual processing here, we have some prereqs to run before and some cleanup to run after. So if I want to do something similar to this in Fabric, I would go, like we said before, to the pipeline. So if we click here on the pipeline, now the pipeline can do a lot more than just this, right? This is just watered down for our session here today. But when Fabric opens up, we'll wait.
Hmm.
Going once, going twice. Perhaps I'm going to do a
Come on,
refresh
control
here.
flow.
Yeah, wake up. It's your turn. And the demo gods are not that happy with me anymore. Let's try that. Fabric.microsoft.com. Let's sign in again. Oh, look at that, Cecilia.
Yeah, it doesn't want to show us the control flow.
Okay, it's coming.
There it
All
is.
right. It decided to wake up. There it is.
Awesome. Ooh, this looks a bit similar, but as you said, from left to right.
Yeah, yeah, the
So
change, right?
so
It's not
here,
Chinese anymore. No, it's Western.
so I'm assuming that SSIS developers here can still apply this workflow logic, thinking about dependencies, success, handling. So they can still do all those things here, right?
And you are correct, right? They can. They are 100% on the spot. But here's the important thing to keep in mind.
Okay, tell
They
me.
can apply the same logic, but when it comes to innovations, our
Mm.
SSIS folks, they will not see the innovations in SSIS anymore. They're only going to see the innovations in here. So for instance, this is the data flow. See, I'm calling my data flow from here. And when I call my data flow, once the data flow is done, let's say what I want to do is send an email to someone just for a report, data flow is completed. So I can do emails on SSIS. But if something
Cool.
goes bad, you see, I got the red arrow here. If something goes bad, I want to send a Teams message from the workflow and wake up someone and say, hey, the thing went bad in here. Come and intervene. Now, these plugins, these new things that are cloud-based, you're not going to see those things in SSIS. In SSIS, the best things they have in there are, some Azure connection, some elements in there. But these innovations, the AI things that are coming up into Fabric, you're not going to see those things in SSIS, unfortunately, because I really love the tool. But we're going to find these things only here. So like we did in SSIS, in the control flow, here in the pipeline, I have a script like, download the file from a mainframe.
Mainframe.
In this case here, I'm just cleaning the table there. And here I am importing. And if I open up here, I see that I'm working with that SSIS data flow, right? The package we just showed before. And I'm
Okay.
executing it. And I could have more executions if I want. There are a bunch of things we can do here. If you look here, like if I go back to SSIS, when I'm here in the control flow, I have in the toolbox, I have the what they call here the common tasks
Mm-hmm.
for the control flow in here, right? FTP, expression, execute another package, and things like that. If I go back to Fabric, I will find those guys here on the activities. So the most common
Got it.
ones are here, like running a script, calling other packages, connecting to invoke other pipelines. It says one pipeline calling another pipeline. So leveled orchestration. And I see a lot of more options here that
Check
I
that
would
out.
have in SSIS. There are way more options in here
Huh,
than I would do in SSIS.
that's amazing.
So isn't it?
I
It's
love it.
exactly the
Yeah.
same concept, but it's
So it,
just
it became bigger, faster, and I can see that I can share a lot of things here.
yeah,
I love
and
it.
very important, is scalable. Because when you go into SSIS, you have memory limitations, right?
Mm-hmm.
When SSIS runs in production, it runs on a single box. You can have a collection of SSS running parallel, but they don't spread the data among the what would be their cluster, right? It's not actually a cluster. But when the process runs, it runs on the memory space of that server, whatever memory space you have in there. Here we have an actual scalable cloud scalable cluster of computing nodes doing all this transformation. So I can get like a 10 terabytes of data and processing here, which more likely we will not going to be able to do in SSIS because of memory limitations of the process in SSIS. So there you go. How do
I
you
love
like
it.
it?
I love this. And I love that I can bring my mindset here because I already have the experience in SSIS. And yeah, things look a bit different, but I see like more possibilities. I see the scalability that this offers me. All this innovation is fantastic. It's a different world, maybe for the developer, but you can still bring
Mhm.
this mindset that makes you very powerful. It's like you don't have to say, okay, now I have to learn something new, forget about SSIS that I was using. No, I mean, you can still bring that logic that you already have and not starting from scratch.
Exactly.
I mean, you
Actually, you
know
have
how
the
to, yeah.
option. You can start like this, exactly like you said. And if you want to challenge yourself, or if you are invited to a project where you're going to use a different angle to do the exactly same thing, you also have the ability here. So we have both ways.
Exactly. And as you said before, if you already have SSIS in your company, this doesn't mean that you have to go run and replace it by this, right? I mean,
Yep.
how
But if you need scalability, if SSAS is hitting the limits, then there you go. It's your chance to come in here. So
exactly.
on LinkedIn, we are broadcasting live to YouTube and LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, Cecilia, we have Yoni. Yoni is asking, "Hello, Armando. Can you parameterize connections like
Hmm.
workspace and lake house destinations?" And the answer is
We have
yes.
parameters since when, right?
It
It was
depends.
a recent,
It
a few
depends
months ago,
actually.
right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
depends actually, depending on the technology you're doing, right? If when you do the connections that I just showed you in there, there are some limitations on how you can parameterize stuff from there. But when you do the data flow and you parameterize the data flow to set up the connection, or if you do the Spark, um, the PySpark script, the PySpark notebook, then you have more flexibility from for parameterization. So depending on which fabric item you have more, you're more flexible on what you can parameterize. But definitely there are ways to parameterize these things.
And the good thing is this platform is in constant development and improvement. So if something is not there yet, I mean, it can come up maybe next month or in a few months. It's gonna be there because people are asking for it. Parameters. When was it that we have it, Armando? I think it was like this last year, right?
Yes, yeah,
Right. When
they
it
can
came
be
out, it
there,
was
yeah.
like yes. People were like yes.
And like Cecilia said, there are new things coming to Fabric every month,
Hmm.
sometimes every week. But when something comes out, don't forget to check if it is preview or GA, right? Using production things that are GA. When they come in preview, you should test them and get familiarized with them, but wait for them to get into GA to deploy in production.
That's a great advice, Armando.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right, we are on time. That
We're on
was, the
time.
time flies when we are having fun, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I could keep watching your demos forever, but time's up for
By the way,
today.
those demos run. If I click running there, the pipeline would work just fine. I test them in there, and you're welcome. The if you Google it, the steps to do the SSIS packages are available from Microsoft. If you want to come and attend our workshop, you're going to have more complex exercise going on in there with more complex transformations and way more data volume. So you can see this thing running in scale. I hope to see you in the workshop
Yeah. And for now, see you next week, right? Next month, Tuesday.
next Tuesday. And for next Tuesday, we have a different topic, right? Let's go
Correct.
back
We
in
have
here. Let's take this
Copilot.
away. Put this one here. Oh, Cecilia's gonna show us her new best friend.
Our Copilot. I like it because one of the Microsoft guys, Jay, wear this captain hat for the Copilot. I'm not a Copilot. That was a cool.
Oh, you're gonna show up with one of those next week. I
Oh, I
see.
have one, so maybe I can wear it. That's a good idea. I'm gonna copy him.
There we
All
go.
right,
Cecilia, it was a
everyone.
great pleasure to be with you again. The folks that are
Likewise.
watching online, I hope you guys enjoy the session. And if you are in South Florida area, please join us on the workshops. We're gonna have a video going out here. The QR code is there for registration. Hope to see you there, and I will definitely see you next week.
All right. See you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Armando.
Thank you, Cecilia. See you later.